I'm Bruce Smith. I'm a geologist. I look for mineral deposits. I've been doing it for about 30 years and on and off 20 or so through Latin America, South America, and a lot of time in Mexico. So Joe has just explained a bit about the law. I know a lot more about it. I can tell you some parts. There will be some problems with future exploration, but those who hold licenses today should be okay. It's the future that's a bit uncertain. But we heard just before my talk a nice talk about silver, and my talk is basically geological and basically about silver. So I'll get on and hopefully you'll enjoy it. So Radius has been around for a while. I've been working hard in Mexico for the last 5 years, and we've acquired a bunch of properties. Most of those properties are in joint venture. I can't talk about all of them today. I'll talk about a new one that I've just recently acquired. But to give you an idea of the quality of our properties, the two joint ventures we have are with Pan American Silver and Fresnillo Mining Company. They're the number 1 and number 2 silver producers in the world. They don't, we're their only partners in exploration. They don't do many joint ventures, so obviously they think our properties are going to be compelling and have scale potential. So those properties have been funded by our partners, and we have projects in Guatemala also being funded by our partners. But today I'll just talk about one district called Tropico. So the Mexican Silver Belt is filled with big mines run by big companies, and we're right in the middle of it. This is, and I'd just like to talk about the Fresnillo District in particular. Not many people here probably know the details of Fresnillo. So Fresnillo Mining District, how significant is it? It's probably the world's greatest precious metal mining camp, one of them. It is certainly the world's biggest silver producer, and the mine at Fresnillo has been constantly in operation for 470 years. So while some people are worried about the government of Mexico today, I would say that this particular mine has gone through at least 150 governments, so we'll be all right. Now, it's produced 4 billion ounces of silver, more or less, from the district. And to get your head around 4 billion ounces, it's equivalent to 57 million ounces of gold. And 57 million ounces of gold, there are not many gold mines in the world that spring to mind that are that big. Kalgoorlie is one, Witwatersrand is much bigger. Muruntau in Uzbekistan is bigger, but 57 million ounces is a huge deposit. It comes from 37 producing veins and breccias. And I'd just like to show you this image. This is a Google Earth image of the Fresnillo Mining District with the city of Fresnillo here in the middle. That's the city. And this Cerro Prano was discovered in 1554 and has been mined ever since. But they didn't start finding these other veins out here because they're all undercover. They really started in here in the 60s and 70s with good drilling technology. So in the 70s, in the 80s, and the 90s, they started finding these other veins in the 2000s. And in early 2000, Mag Silver and Peter McGraw were here. They looked at, it was Peñoles at the time, that was drilling out on the plains. They saw them drilling out on the plains out here. And they speculated that if Fresnillo is drilling out here, these veins point in this direction, this is a big alteration system, big clay alteration, and it's got a sinter on top of it, which is, I'll talk about a sinter in the middle. So they postulated that hidden under there, they'd find another one. And they did in 2003, they drilled the hole there. That's the Juanicipio vein, and that's in production today. It's just entered into production recently. And to give you an idea of how big that is, the deposit under there is at least 30 million tonnes, but they're mining 10 million tonne ore shoot at the moment called the Bonanza Zone, and the grade on that is 650 grams silver, 2.5 grams gold plus a couple of percent lead and zinc. So it's a world-class discovery there. And out across the valley, across the bean fields, these veins over here are pointing towards us. Out across the bean fields, here is our new project called Tropico, and I just acquired that a couple of weeks ago. I've been chasing it for years, but I've finally convinced the owners to sell it to me. So if you drew a line across the middle of this section and you cut it and had a look at what's going on underneath, Cerro Prano, that's the one there, the old mine, that's the only one that outcrops. All the rest were hidden. That's why it took them 400 years to find them. So if we draw a line through there, that depth is about 200 meters. The tops of all these veins, all these massive producers, lie about 200 meters underground. None of them were exposed. None of them had surface geochemistry. They're all found with drilling and postulation. Now, our project, this is a photo looking at our project, looking out across the bean fields towards the producing mines, and you can see that there's not much exposed on the surface. We're a kilometre from a paved highway. Easy access for drilling, easy access for all work. So this is a drone image looking back at what we've found on the ground. There's scattered subcrop and outcrop of silica sinter and breccia pipe. Yeah, and so just looking at this, the sinter is at the top of the system. This is surface deposited silica, and to get an idea of what sinter is, it's like Yellowstone National Park. That's a hot spring epithermal system that's active today. This is a fossil Yellowstone National Park. And the precious metal system is down here about 300 meters underneath. This comes from Mag Silver's report that they stuck in economic geology. That's what we were looking for when we found this on the surface. So our sinter grades 0.8, and you've got to remember that when Mag Silver found theirs, there was no gold in it at all. It's got mercury in it, and as we heard before, mercury is the key indicator here. We don't really need key indicators because we have gold. And the breccia pipe itself has gold as well, and it's also off the charts for mercury. So what we want to see is what's underneath here. This has never been drilled before. And remember, it's on the outskirts of one of the biggest epithermal districts in the world. We ran a line of geophysics across the top of it. I just got this information a few days ago. So the geophysics shows us that directly, I'll just put up here, this is soil cover and calcrete. Calcrete is kind of a limey surface crete that obscures everything so you can't see through it because the host is limestone. So when the limestone gets dissolved in water, it makes kind of a concrete on the surface with the soil. The only outcrop is here, and this geophysics image looks down about 700 to 800 meters underground, and it's looking at the red is the resistive part, which should be silica. So we can see directly under our gold-rich sinter, this red is the silica, and it goes all the way to the bottom of the section, and that's what we wanted to see. And it may seem to you like there's a lot of red on here. We didn't know that this one was here. We have no, I've got an idea of what it is, but you can't see it on the surface. So our model is just like the Fresnillo mine, like the other ones across the bean fields, breccia pipes with gold veins and silver veins. This is the first one. I'll be flying down there in a couple of days with a jackhammer and a few guys with picks and shovels to get through and see if we can see anything here. But within a month, by August, we'll be drilling here. And we hope to find another one, a Scipio. So our company's been around for a while. Simon and Mario founded Fortuna Silver Mines. It's a $1.5 billion mining company with 6 mines, 3 in the Americas, 4 in the Americas and a couple in Africa, so they know what they're doing. We've got a small team in Mexico. And so what are our potential reevaluation triggers? The main thing is I'll be drilling this in a couple of months. We're in a world-class district. We have all the surface expression of the other mines in that district, and it's a roll of the dice whether we're going to find another one. But if we do, our share price will go from 17 cents to somewhere well north of that. We have these other projects. This one should be drilled in the next couple of months. Again, it's a discovery we made. It's in joint venture with the largest silver mining company in the world, so they obviously think it's got huge potential. We've got the one at Amalia that Joe talked about. Our partner again is a second largest silver producer in the world. We've got 60 drill holes into that. We've made a major discovery. But in these projects here, we only own 35% of each. So our upside is slightly limited, but our risk is down because our partners are paying. And then we have the ones in Guatemala, but that are in joint venture also with a partner, also being paid by other people. But the main one, this one's 100% ours, and we'll be drilling soon. So we have a massive chance for an upside here, but even if we fail, our shares are not gone down much because we have great projects being funded by our partners. So that's a short story of Mexico. Time's up. If anybody would like to ask me anything, I'll be outside having a beer. So please go away and enjoy your afternoon, and thank you for your time.